Hey everybody, Blaise here, and I'm back again with another short video. Today I want to talk to you about how to make a Photoshop brush. Very specifically, I want to show you how to make a water brush, how to create a brush that will simulate water textures. And I want you to be able to take this thinking and use it for making foliage brushes, cloud brushes. I've filled my entire website with all kinds of brushes, and this is the technique that I use. So I want to show you how to do it on your own. So come on over here, let me show you really quick. So what I've done is I've created a document that is 5 inches by 5 inches, and it is at 300 DPI. Now we want to create a water, like a ripply water effect. So I'm going to create a layer, a new layer on top. And keep in mind also that I'm working in Photoshop. It's pretty similar on how to make brushes in other drawing softwares as well. So keep that in mind. So I've created a new layer on top, and I'm going to just grab a dark color. When you're making brushes, they really only think in black and white, so it doesn't matter what you use. Make it dark though, so that you can get the range of values. Okay. I'm just gonna grab a regular hard round brush. So this is just a standard brush that Photoshop makes, because I want to show you that you can do this without having to go, with custom brushes. All right, so I'm going to go into my brush tip shape. I'm going to close that gap a little bit. So now what I've got is basically this. I've got a brush that does these kinds of lines. Very simple, okay? So let's think about water ripples, or at least, textured, like small little ripples blowing across gently on the water. That's what I want to draw. And we're just going to draw like a little sampling of them. Going to go a little bigger with the brush. So I'm just imagining ripples on the water. That's what I'm painting in. Trying to make them pretty irregular. Just draw a little set of ripples. And use reference if you need to. I'm just kind of making this up out of my head. But if you need to use reference, do it. The key here is you want to make it look naturalistic. As I get further away from the center, just going to have them get a little smaller, fade them out a little bit, because I want the shape to kind of blend in on itself. Now, the other thing that I want you to keep in mind is that you can come up with all kinds of different traits for water in the way that it ripples, or how simple it might be. But here we have a set of kind of, little bit of chop that you might see on a pond with the wind blowing or whatever. So that's what we've created right here. Let me go ahead and just move that into the center. So now what I want to do is turn off the background like so it's just sitting on a clear background. And I'm going to go up to Edit, and I'm going to define the brush preset, and I'm going to hit OK. So now you can see we've actually created this shape, this brush. So I'm going to turn this off and turn on the background again. And now if I draw with this, it obviously isn't creating the effect we want. So now we have to go into the brush presets, okay? And that's this little, let me show you where it is. Over here on Photoshop, it's this little folder with a brush on it. You click on that, and the first thing that I want to do is just open up the spacing, okay? I'm going to open up the spacing so that the brush, you can see if I go too far, it's just the single print that I made. But if I pull it a little tighter and get them kind of edge to edge, I start to create this kind of image right here, if you look at the brush preset. And then what I want to do is go into Shape Dynamics, and right in this window right here, I want to click on Direction. Now what that does is it causes the drawing to follow itself. And you can see as I draw now, I'm getting this interesting water effect. See there? It works really great. So now what I want to do is maybe push the size jitter a little bit so it's not all completely consistent. And I'm going to try flipping the X as well. Let's just see what that does. If that gives us anything we want to use. That's not too bad. We've come in here and brought in the brush tip shape and just open those up a little bit more. There we go. So you can play with those dynamics as long as you have direction turned on. Look at that. Now what's really cool about this, so let's do this. I want to show you now that, and let's go ahead and save that. We'll just call it water. Okay. So now let's go ahead and just color our background. Let's make it kind of a light blue, like the color of the sky. Okay. We're going to go ahead and fill that in like so. Now I'm going to go back to my brush right here. And I want to grab a darker color, darker blue, and I'm going to set my layer to multiply. Now watch this. One of the things we can do is we can create a sense of perspective. So in the foreground, I'm going to make them really big. Okay? So then, as we go back, I'm going to shrink the brush. It goes back into perspective. Look at that. Just like that. And now what I can do is I want to create a little bit of atmosphere. So I'm going to go a little warmer with it. A little brighter. Let's go to my gradient tool. I'm just going to create a little bit of atmosphere. Let it fade off into the distance. So now we've got some water fading off right there. And then we can accentuate it even more if we want to have a few highlights on here. Let's grab this watercolor, go warmer with it, go brighter with it. And then I'm going to go ahead and go back to my paintbrush. Let's go back to that original hard round brush. And what we can do is just pick out areas in here. I'm going to go right up on top. There we go. We can pick out areas that we want to highlight. But all the hard work has been done because we created this brush. Look at all this cool water. Now remember, you can create all kinds of different shapes doing this. I'm just going through and picking areas to highlight. And with a little patience, you can go through and create pretty neat effect. Just like that. Look at that, it feels like we've got water blowing across a lake or an ocean or whatever it might be. This is just done with a simple round brush. A standard round brush. It's just nothing to it. Okay? So, go ahead and experiment with that. Try different shapes. Take these brush presets that I've talked about. Try doing it with leaf shapes. Try doing it with grasses. Try doing it with clouds. Using this thought process, there's so many different textures that you can come up with water, clouds, grass, all kinds of things. And it's a lot of fun to figure out. So go on out there, put some beauty back into the world, create some water brushes, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks.